Hello, thank you for joining us. Today, my team and I would like to discuss a few topics pertaining to recruitment, training, and compensation. Any career field that you may enter in the future is going to require that you complete training of some sort. Understanding the importance of this training and recruitment will help you be a better learner, and being a better learner will help you to be a better employee.
The hiring process is very important. Basically, it should be conducted by the hire managers that know what they're doing. They've been with the company long enough, so they know what the company needs. They need to do mental tests, physical tests, and personality tests to make sure they fit the job. And then afterwards, make sure that they do the job completely and they get it done. And if they need to fire them, they do it legally and for a legitimate reason. For the job recruitment process, you can either go internally or externally to find these new recruits. Internally is when you use your people in your own business that maybe already have a job but maybe want to go up or switch jobs. And also externally, which is going through hiring agencies or sending out applications to try to get new people. When it comes to the actual recruitment process, you may give them aptitude tests to see if they have what it takes and mentally to handle the job. Also, you can do personal interviews to see their people skills, how they interact with you, how you can feel about them. And when that process, you get their resume so you can see what they've done, what they've accomplished to see if they fit your your business and what your business hopes to accomplish.
Personal perspective number one.
What best skills will you bring into your job?
I think one would be leadership skills. I like to be in charge and I like helping to lead others to complete a common goal. I also think that I have good critical thinking skills. I'm good at thinking on my feet and good at solving problems. I also like to think that my people skills are pretty good. I work well with others and I'm pretty sociable.
The best skills that I believe I would be able to bring to a company is, for one, the ability to handle a lot of different things at once. And I've shown this through being a full-time student, having a full-time job, and also running a household. And I will also bring the ability to think outside the box and to solve problems quickly and effectively.
The way that I'm able to communicate and get my message across to customers, along with my listening skills and empathy, will combine to make me a great saleswoman.
The main two skills I would bring to my future job would be interpersonal skills and work experience. All my jobs have been doing with the customer, very customer oriented. A lot of face-to-face interactions, a lot of talking. I'm not hiding behind a desk or anything. These jobs include orientation team, day camp counselors, server tables, all having to do with people. And my second is the work experience. I've done many jobs, from being in the back washing dishes to being on the floor serving, uh, helping the school, working with the school. I've done a lot, so I'm very well rounded.
Hey, Pat and Jason, what's going on? I called this meeting today so we can discuss developing guidelines for sales recruitment and also a formalized selection procedure.
I think that's a great idea. We've really been needing new reform in our HR department.
Yes, it is time we come up with a unified plan for the recruitment and selection processes. And I believe the best way to go about this is to implement a four-step process. The first step being a basic quiz about the applicant, along with some general sales problems. The second step would be a face-to-face interview with the selected group. The third step would be a final interview with the final applicants involving myself with a real-world sales problem that they had to figure out on the spot. And the fourth step would be to choose the new salesperson. What do y'all think about this process?
These are all great points. We also need to decide who will be involved in the hiring process and who will have the authority to make the hiring decisions.
I think that the hiring process looks good. I also agree with you, Pat. The personnel that will be involved in the hiring process should be myself, Pat, and the district manager for whatever district we are hiring in. In the case of District 5, that would be you, Jason.
I definitely agree with having each individual sales manager involved with hirings in their own districts, because who knows more about their customers than the district manager?
All right, now that we're all on the same page, we need to figure out how we're finding these applicants. We have to look internally, people who already work for us, and externally, people from other agencies that we can.
Well, in order to decide where is the best place to hire from, I think we need to conduct a job analysis and generate a job description along with qualifications for the position that we are hiring.
Great idea, Roscoe. That way we are getting the best and most qualified applicants available. Of course, we cannot just deny the people in our own company the opportunity if they show promise.
I agree with that. If we can hire internally, it would save us time and money, being that the applicant will require less re- orientation and training.
Exactly what I was thinking. It seems like we have come to an agreement on the recruitment and selection processes.
Now that we have agreed on the process, let's get it formalized and put it into place as soon as possible. Jason, Pat, as usual, it was great meeting with you guys. I'll stay in touch. So the main thing we learned about in Chapter 10 is the objectives of sales training. They are increased productivity, improve morale, a lower turnover rate, improve customer relations, and improve selling skills. One of the types of trainings that we learned about that's good for most employees is called just-in-time training. Large training sessions are not always the best route because they overload information. In fact, 60 to 90% of skills that are learning training sessions are lost within 30 days. With just-in-time training, it's better to take part in a smaller, skill-specific session that are put on closer to the time when the skill is needed. Next in Chapter 10, we're going to look at some sales training topics and methods of training. The sales training topics are usually product knowledge, which is very important, market or industry orientation, company orientation, selling skills, time and territory management, legal and ethical issues or policies, technology, and specialized topics such as price negotiation or reading body language.
Personal perspective number 2.
What kinds of training do you think you'll need in your job?
Now, the types of trainings that I would need most is technical work with computers, like Word and Excel, PowerPoint, things like that, because I believe that would make me the most efficient and most effective employee possible.
When I do get hired on as a salesperson, I am aware that I will need some training in the proper way to answer phone calls and make phone calls, as well as being trained in how to use the software that they use to complete day-to-day activities.
What kinds of training do I think I'll need in my job? I think the first and most important thing is product knowledge. I think it is an important thing to understand and truly know what we are selling or dealing with at whatever company you're working at. Another important thing that I would like to learn more on is time management. It's a very good thing to know how to use your time efficiently and get the most out of it. Hey, Gloria. I called this meeting today because it's been 6 months since we developed our new recruiting plan. Now I'd like to discuss a mix of sales training methods that will be best for Bass Broker.
Yes, I'm very pleased with the new system for recruiting and hiring, but I do agree with you and think we could use a little bit of work on our training process. I really want to use a more varied approach that focuses on providing career-enhancing professional development opportunities to our employees.
I think that's a great idea. Did you have any specifics in mind?
I don't think on-the-job training is working for our employees. Many new salespeople have specifically discussed to me that they are uncomfortable with this way of learning. Perhaps we could look more into adding role-playing, classroom training, or electronic training classes. What do you think about incorporating these things into new hires' training rituals?
I agree. Incorporating those things into the training process for new hires would definitely benefit them. I also think that some of our current employees could use some additional training as well. Maybe we could do some research to figure out who needs training and what they need to be trained in.
It may be time to do evaluations. We can have each of the district managers evaluate their salespeople by observing them and checking out their recent successes. But now I'd like to discuss the costs associated with the addition of these new practices.
Let's go ahead with the employee evaluations. I think that would be a valuable use of our time. Yes, I think we do need to analyze all the costs and make sure that they are outweighed by the benefits of the training. However, the benefits of training are sometimes hard to measure. Do you have any ideas how we could get a good measure of the training results and benefits?
We need to set goals for these salespeople according to what they learn in their training. If the goals are continually being met, we know our salespeople are performing adequately. The employee evaluations we collect will also help managers in measuring the effectiveness of their training.
Sounds great. I will set up another meeting with all the managers this week to alert them of the upcoming changes and courses of action that will be taking place.
Thanks, Roscoe. We can closely monitor this new system for a few months to measure its success and be sure that the benefits are in fact outweighing the costs.
And today I would like to talk to you about a few different types of sales compensation plans. The three I'll be speaking about are straight salary, straight commission, and a combination of salary and incentives. A straight salary is effective when sales volume is hard to measure, and it can change the view of salespeople from their short-term sales to more long-term sales as well. But it does have its faults, like that it does not provide much of an incentive to improve sales-related performance. Straight commission can be a great tool when utilized correctly, like when you need to hit those final sales number right before the quarter ends, or when you need to promote someone, you can look at those sales numbers and really see who's getting the job done. But just like salary, commission does have its faults, like when you have a salesperson that would go to a reliable client over and over to boost their sales numbers, or when a salesperson is so involved in just selling that he does not utilize those other marketing activities. This is where a combination of a base salary and incentives comes into play, because it can help really motivate your sales force because they have that stable salary to get them thinking long-term and thinking about future sales. But it also has those short-term incentives to really get them rolling with present sales. So in the end, the most effective way to get those salespeople thinking about the future and the now is to give a base salary with incentives. Personal perspective number 3.
What compensation plan works best for you and why?
I prefer a compensation plan that betters my future. I would like things such as stock benefits and a great 401k plan. It's good to have a base salary that's bringing in money now, but I would like to have something to look forward to in the future, such as money saved up for my children and a good retirement plan to fall back on.
The best compensation plan that I see working for me in the future would be a base salary plus that incentive-based pay, because that would give me the security of a steady income with the opportunity to achieve great financial goals.
The compensation plan I think that works best for me would be a salary plus commission. I think the salary plus commission is best for me because I don't only like to work, I like to do things with my friends and family. I'm pretty busy outside of work. So I think a small salary plus the commission would motivate me to work as hard as I can, but when I'm busy I can still make a little money to get through.
Especially in my first position I get in my sales career, I would prefer to have a compensation plan that includes both base salary pay and commission salary. I'm not too confident in my selling abilities just yet, and I would like to have a safety net to fall back on.
This concludes our presentation. We all hope you enjoyed and that you can use these ideas to better your own company.